Further to that, this week you visited some of the possible locations for the first nuclear plant in Poland. What is your immediate takeaway from the trip?
Well, first, it's a beautiful countryside in the north of Poland where it's proposed to put these plants. And one of the beauties of nuclear is it doesn't take up much room. It's very easy on the landscape, and also it doesn't pollute the environment in the surrounding area. So most nuclear plants I've been, it's like almost a nature park around the plant, where the birds and wildlife can live without any pollution, and the people can live without any pollution. I found the people that I met near the nuclear plant site to be very much interested in gaining more information. There are a few people who are hardcore opposed. There are quite a few people who are strongly in favor. And then there are the ones who are still wanting to get more information before they know which way to go. But I think a lot of people there are interested in the economic development benefits of nuclear energy and the fact that it is a safe and clean technology for the country, and that it is moving in the right direction. It's a very progressive move to go from total fossil fuel to having another alternative in the electricity mix, which is clean and not fossil fuel. So I was positively impressed, and I think the best thing is that the local people are being given the opportunity to learn more about nuclear energy, to go on field trips to other countries and see operating nuclear plants, talk to the leaders in those communities and the local people who've lived with those nuclear plants for many years, and to get a much more realistic impression than just reading scare stories about how the plant is going to do this or that, because there are 435 plants operating in the world, and they're operating safely all around the world.
Do you have any advice on how to talk to the grassroots public?
Well, it's mostly a question of giving them good factual data, and in particular of taking them and showing them the real thing. There's no substitute for traveling to see an actual nuclear plant in operation and speaking to real people who have lived there. Just coming to a meeting with slides and stuff can be good too if you have good information, but there's no substitute for understanding on the ground what the situation really is when a nuclear plant is in a community. Because it is a fact that that in communities which have nuclear plants, there's more support for nuclear in those communities than there is in places where they don't have nuclear plants. Communities that don't have nuclear plants don't have the experience, but the people who live near a nuclear plant come to realize over time that they are clean and safe, and in particular they are a very large wealth-creating machine in their community, which produces lots of jobs at high wages, people with a lot of disposable income paying good tax rates into the community. So there's a saying, the closer you get to a nuclear plant, the better the roads and schools are, because there's a big tax base and a big employment base that comes with nuclear power.
Could you discuss the benefits nuclear energy provides to both the region and the nation?
Well, I think the beauty of nuclear energy is it fills the qualifications for sustainable development entirely. It has very strong environmental benefits in that it stops the pollution of the air and water. It has very strong economic benefits because it provides a great wealth in the community. And it also has great social benefits because it provides jobs for people who are in the local community, and good jobs. So sustainability is to balance environmental, economic, and social priorities. Nuclear energy satisfies that equation.
If you could talk about some of the misconceptions about nuclear energy.
Well, I think most people would say that the issue of nuclear waste is one of their main concerns. And the misconception here is that it's wrong to call the used nuclear fuel just waste, like you have to get rid of it all, because 99% of the energy remains in the used nuclear fuel after it passes through the reactor one time. So that used nuclear fuel is actually one of our most important future energy resources. We can multiply by 100 the amount of energy that was extracted in the first place. So the used nuclear fuel should be carefully contained and guarded into the future to the time when we want to recycle it. It should be looked at as a precious resource, not as a waste. There is some waste in the fission products that need to be separated out, but they are only radioactive for 300 years. Many countries are already managing those fission products by putting it into glass and covering it with stainless steel, putting it in the ground, and then put a roof over the building, and then you leave it there for 300 years. All you have to do is put enough money in the bank to make sure that that will be done, and then it's not radioactive anymore. So when people say there's no solution to the problem of nuclear waste, there actually isn't a problem. No one is being harmed by it now. It is being very well contained and kept out of the environment, and it is extremely valuable for the future as an energy resource. So nuclear waste isn't a problem, it is a solution.